Hello, welcome back to FRAG-MENTAL. Are you wondering which fragrance you should purchase next, or simply curious about what people are buying at the moment? Here are the current top 10 best-selling men's fragrances. There are various different ways I could have done this, but one of the best I think is to go to a popular website. One of the most popular fragrance shops is the Fragrance Shop. So I went to their website to look at what their top 10 best-selling men's fragrances are here in the UK. Before we get into it, let me tell you, there are some great fragrances in here. There are some iconic fragrances that have been popular for years. There are some brand new release fragrances. So let's see what they've got. We're kicking off with one of this year's new releases from Valentino. This is Born in Roma Uomo Extra Dose. I think I got that all in the right order. This is a spicy woody scent with some aromatic lavender. Despite the notes, this is maybe fresher than what you might think. It's also got a lovely bit of creaminess to it. Okay, let's just be real with this. This fragrance is not going to change the world. It's not going to become an icon. It's not doing anything radically different, but it is a really nicely done, slightly fresh, aromatic, spicy, lavender fragrance. It's very mass appealing, very crowd pleasing, as you would expect from a brand like Valentino. There's nothing that adventurous or creatively different here, but it is very enjoyable, and I would say for the masses out there, you know, it does have that mass appeal. It's one of those fragrances that people enjoy. It's hard not to like. You spray this on a strip and instantly it smells a little bit sweet, a little bit fresh, a little bit creamy, masculine. It smells nice. Not particularly innovative, but I've been enjoying wearing this, and because it's a new release, people are always interested in new releases, and I think that is why this is number 10 on the bestseller list. Do you think we will see that Valentino on a list like this in 30 years' time? I don't think so, but this fragrance has stood the test of time. It is the iconic, the legendary Jean-Paul Gaultier's Le Male. It's still with us. Of course, Le Male is one of the most recognizable scents on the planet. It's a minty, fresh, fun, youthful, vibrant, very, very likable fragrance. I'm pleased this is still on the list. This is one of my favorite fragrances of all the fragrances I have ever worn in my life. This is probably the one I've worn the most because I've had multiple bottles. It was my signature scent for about a decade. It does smell a little bit different to how it originally smelled when I was wearing this, but it's still a really nice fragrance. It's a shame that it has become slightly sort of neutered and rounded off. Unfortunately, that does happen with some fragrances. Ingredients have to change. That unfortunately means the smells have to change slightly, but it is still a really nice fragrance. And 30 years after its original release, Le Male is still a top 10 bestseller. I think that just proves this is truly an iconic fragrance. Is it still wearable in 2025? I think the fact that it is in this top 10 best-selling list proves that the people out there think it's still wearable. This next one surprised me a little bit. Initially, I looked at the bestsellers list and I thought, 1 million, still there. Like Le Male, after all these years, it's an icon, it was a game changer. It is still a top 10 best-selling fragrance. But then I looked a little closer and it's not actually the original 1 million. The top 10 bestseller from Paco Rabanne in this list is 1 million Parfum. I think this is a great fragrance. It was more creative than it had any right to be. It wasn't just a stronger, richer, deeper Parfum version of 1 million. There is some of that 1 million DNA kicking around in the background, but this is quite a big, bold, creative, salty, tuberose solar fragrance. I didn't expect it to be that. This actually makes me think of a sunny holiday destination. I don't know if there's maybe a little bit of a sun cream smell to this. There are solar notes listed, so I think the intention here is to give us sunny destination vibes, and I definitely get that from this. In addition to that, there's a bit of leather, which is giving us this robust, strong backbone, giving the fragrance a bit of extra attitude. I think it's more impactful than the original 1 million. It's probably more divisive than that though. Tuberose isn't for everyone. It's got a white floral feel. Some people may think maybe because of the white florals, the tuberose, it leans a little more feminine. That's why I am a little bit surprised it's in this bestseller list. I would have still thought the original 1 million would have been a bigger seller than this, but according to the Fragrance Shop, people are buying more Parfum than the original. This one was a great release a couple of years ago. I was really relieved when I smelled it because I was hoping it would smell amazing, and it does smell amazing. So no surprise, it's a bestseller. From Jean-Paul Gaultier, it's Le Male Elixir. It definitely plays into that original Le Male DNA, that minty, fresh lavender, but this one darkens things up. It's got some honey, it's got tobacco. It's a sweeter, more indulgent version of Le Male. It also modernizes the Le Male smell. This was well played by Jean-Paul Gaultier. They know what works well with the Le Male DNA, so they've kept some of that in there. It's a very popular sort of smell, but they're also probably aware that it is a little while, 30 years since Le Male was released, and they need to modernize things a little bit, so they've played into more modern perfume trends like the sweetness, like the honey, the tobacco, mingled that in with what was great about Le Male, and we get Le Male Elixir. It's quite a strong fragrance, it's a modern smelling fragrance, definitely mass appealing. I love wearing this. It makes a statement, but it's also quite easy to wear. There's always been a bit of sexiness when it comes to Le Male, and I think they've gone even sexier with Le Male Elixir. This is an incredible fragrance. I love wearing this. The Elixir Absolu smells very similar to this. They did add a little bit of plum into that, but this one seems to be the more popular one, and I think it is well deserved of its place as a top 10 bestseller. This next one has become a little bit of an icon as well. From Emporio Armani, this is Stronger With You Intensely. With notes of toffee, cinnamon, vanilla, amber, suede. It's quite easy to see, looking at that note breakdown, why this is so popular. Great release in the Stronger With You line. In fact, all the Stronger With You fragrances smell really good. You could argue that there's not a lot of difference between a lot of the Stronger With You fragrances, and that would be a strong argument, but they are very wearable and likable nonetheless. I can never decide whether I prefer Intensely or Absolutely. They're both great fragrances. With Absolutely, you get a little bit of that warming rum. With this one, you get the toffee. I know the chestnut that is in a lot of the Strong With You fragrances isn't listed officially in this, but I still do get some of that roasted chestnut with that toffee, with the cinnamon. It's sweet, it's indulgent, it's a compliment getter. I love wearing this. It is a very good release from Armani, and evidently people out there shopping at the fragrance shop also think this is a very good release. Oh boy, we are getting some Le Male love in this list, because this is the third Jean-Paul Gaultier Le Male fragrance. This is Le Male Le Parfum. Again, they played a blinder with this because they have included what is so good about the original Le Male, but this time they inserted trending notes of vanilla and iris. It's a great smell. This smells so good. It modernizes Le Male again in a different way to what Elixir does. It's not quite as dark as that, but that dense vanilla, the slightly lipsticky iris, which is present in the Dior Homme line, in the Prada L'Homme fragrances, in some of the Valentinos. That is in here, not to the same degree as in some of those. It is a little more dialed down, so if you're not a fan of that lipsticky iris, do not worry about that, because that is not really the style that you're getting in this. Just like Le Male Elixir, this is a fragrance that everyone will love. It smells masculine. It's gonna get some compliments, probably even more than Le Male Elixir, because I think it's more wearable. I think it's more versatile. I could wear this all year round. And you know what? Even though this fragrance isn't that old at the moment, I think in the future, a few years into the future, we'll get to the point where we are classifying this as much as a modern icon, as a timeless classic, as the original Le Male. It's that good. The next fragrance is not this one, because this is Mont Blanc's Explorer Extreme. The one in the list is actually just the original Explorer. I don't have that. I sold it a few years ago, but that is the next one in the list. Because I don't have the Explorer bottle, enjoy this close-up of Explorer Extreme, because the bottles are actually pretty much the same. And what does Explorer smell like? Well, it kind of smells like a more designery version of Creed's AVENTUS. And I get it, it's a great smell, so why would you not create a fragrance that you think is gonna sell you a ton of bottles? That's kind of a good business move, right? Even though it's kind of similar, it's not an out-and-out facsimile of AVENTUS, so it's Mont Blanc's version of that scent profile, shall we say. It's popular, it's more affordable than AVENTUS, which makes it more accessible than AVENTUS, which means that probably even more people are wearing this. And I gotta say, when you're out and about, if I smell the scent trail of someone wearing Explorer, I probably wouldn't be able to tell you exactly whether it's AVENTUS or Explorer, because in the air they do smell pretty similar. But as we all know, it's a great smell, it's a popular fragrance, and a bestseller for good reason. The next one is from Prada, and no, to my surprise, it wasn't Prada L'Homme. It's the brand new Paradigm. This has notes of bergamot, musk, geranium, benzoin, Peru balsam, and gaiac wood. I'd describe this as a woody, spicy, fresh fragrance. I'd also describe it as a fragrance that is very easy to wear. It is very safe to wear, office safe. if you like. It is also very versatile. You can wear this whenever you like, any time of day, any time of year, any occasion. It's probably gonna work. This has super versatility, but the compromise for that level of versatility is that it doesn't really, in my opinion, commit to anything in particular. It doesn't have that much of a distinctive personality. It smells great, it's very enjoyable. I have really enjoyed wearing this. It's mass appealing, it's crowd pleasing. People around you are probably gonna love it. It's a safe, dumb reach of a fragrance. I'm not sure if that's what Prada set out to do. Maybe that was their intention with this scent, because that sort of fragrance is always going to sell a lot of bottles. But hey, if that's what they set out to do, then they achieved it. But me being a fragrance enthusiast, I'm always hoping for a new fragrance release to be distinctive, to really commit to something. And although those fragrances aren't always going to be the best sellers, they are a little more interesting. But don't get me wrong, it's still an enjoyable smell. It's a well-made fragrance. It's been a well-made publicity campaign that I think has helped sell this fragrance. It's simple, it's uncomplicated. If that's what you're looking for, then I think you'll really enjoy this. But let's ask the question, in 30 years, like with Le Male, will this fragrance still be remembered as a timeless classic? Will it still be appearing in top 10 bestseller lists? Maybe not. A pretty good example of a fragrance that I think will be a timeless classic, that will always appear in these lists, is this one from Chanel. This is Bleu de Chanel EDP. This is a modern, masculine men's classic. There's something about this smell, there's something about the Chanel quality that makes this such an enjoyable fragrance. A lot of the things I said about Prada Paradoxe, about it being very versatile, about it being pretty safe, office safe, I could pretty much say all those things about Bleu de Chanel, but there's something in Bleu de Chanel that is a little more magical, a little more memorable, and it's really hard to put your finger on it, but then I guess that is the magic. Chanel sprinkled this one with a little bit of magic. The EDT, the EDP and the Parfum. I think the EDP is maybe just the one that people go for, perhaps because it's a bit more affordable, perhaps because people think, well, out of the three, or now four I guess, but out of all of them, I don't know which to go for, so I'm just gonna go in the middle and go for the EDP, because maybe I'm gonna get the best of all worlds in it. I love it, I've been wearing it for years, I've got personal memories that are now tied into the smell of this fragrance. It is just a little bit of Chanel magic, and that's why it is still a best-selling fragrance. In case you were wondering where on earth Sauvage was in this top 10 bestseller list, well, it's right up there at number 1. This is Sauvage EDP. I would say this does smell very similar to the EDT, but perhaps a little more rounded, a little bit sweeter, a little bit richer, a little less shouty. Not a drastic change from the EDT here with the EDP. I think maybe they dialed down the ambroxan a little bit, but it's still pretty much that really good Sauvage smell. I don't know why the EDP seems to be more popular than the EDT. I actually would have thought the EDT would have been more popular since that was the original, and it's probably a bit stronger than this, and people tend to like strong fragrances. But for whatever reason, this one is at the top of the fragrance shop's best-selling fragrances. Maybe it's that thing again where there's a few versions of a fragrance, people don't really know which one to get, they don't have a lot of time to research it, so they just go with what they think is the safe bet and get the EDP because it's somewhere there doing its thing in the middle of everything else. I enjoy it. I think it's a good fragrance. I don't think it's any surprise that a fragrance as popular as Sauvage is at the top of a best-selling list, but there it is. Sauvage EDP, number 1 bestseller for the fragrance shop. Okay, there it is. Top 10 best-selling men's fragrances according to the fragrance shop. Some absolute icons in there, sprinkled with a few new releases. Are you surprised by any of the fragrances on this list? Are there any that you think shouldn't be here, or are there any that you think should be here that aren't a top 10 bestseller for the fragrance shop? Let me know in the comments. If you like the video, give it a like, subscribe if you haven't already, and if you do all that, I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching, bye.